How was I able to break the glass ceiling, if you will? For me, it was almost just being completely stubborn that I wasn't gonna let gender be an issue or a factor in any of it. I wanted it to only be based on playing. My name is Lindsey Miller. I am a touring session freelance guitarist in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, I first got interested in the guitar because as a little girl I was obsessed with the Beatles, so I asked my parents when I was 10 years old for a guitar for Christmas. And then a few years after that, when I was about 12 or 13 years old, I discovered Led Zeppelin because I saw the Led Zeppelin movie, The Song Remains the Same, on VH1. I've never heard anything that's ever sounded like that, and after that I was just like, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life figuring this out. So that's kind of how it's been since then. And then from there I started getting into jazz when I was in high school and went on to go to college to get a jazz degree, and just kept snowballing from there, learning new styles until I decided I wanted to take the leap and move to Nashville. When I first moved to Nashville, I'm not sure I had much of an actual plan, but some things just happened that worked out really, really well. After I'd been here a few months, I ran into a friend of mine. He asked me to come to a reading session he was doing at the Musicians Union. I didn't know exactly what I was walking into, but when I did, I realized that somehow he had also had every single horn player that was like the first session call player for studio work in Nashville there too. It was kind of exciting because I was trying to guess on like who is that and who is that and what do they do, but also extremely nerve-wracking because at that particular session he gave me a guitar feature to play, so I had the opportunity to like sight read in front of everybody and take a really long solo, and they all got to hear me play, which, like I said, was really nerve-wracking, but at the same time was really great, because from that experience is probably where about 80% of all my work since then has come from, getting invited to that session. These are guys that like don't hang out anywhere. They go and play a session and they go home at night. You know, it's hard to meet them except within a context like that. So I feel pretty lucky that I had that one chance moment to do that. Studying jazz for me, I think it's helped a lot. First, a lot of guitar players don't sight read notation, and that's something I got pretty deep into, where I got really good at it, and it definitely helped me fill a niche here in town. I ended up playing with a lot of horn players and string players quite a bit, and having played in a lot of ensembles in college, I learned a lot about tuning, matching articulations with an ensemble, and matching styles with an ensemble. So I think that's where it was really beneficial for me. Last October, I got to play with the Nashville Symphony for the Disney Pixar movie Coco. While they showed the movie, we played all the music that's in the movie. It's very intense. It's like a 90-minute guitar solo basically the whole time, so it was definitely on edge. The click does not always stay at exactly the same tempo, so sometimes you're going to be chasing the click. When we did Coco, that was totally the case. The click is just all over the place because the music is just changing tempos. And there was one song where I actually ended up recording the click onto my phone because I was like, no one's ever going to believe what this sounded like, because it was just like just everywhere, like not consistent at all. So. A lot of my stuff has been across a lot of styles and genres. In the jazz world, I've gotten to do some pretty cool one-off projects with jazz musicians like Jeff Coffin, who played with Bela Fleck, and he currently plays with Dave Matthews. I remember specifically that I went out to some venue and I saw him play and a trombone player play with him who had been playing for Prince at the time. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. I'm never gonna play with those guys. And then, who knows, like a month later, one day the phone rang and he goes, "This is Jeff Coffin." And I was like, okay. That type of thing is cool. It's scary, but it's cool. Okay, how did I break into a male-dominated industry? I would say if you really feel that you've truly been called to this profession, then absolutely go for it, because there is a place for you and for what you do and for what you have to say. It kind of almost helps to have a little bit of a sense of humor and not take yourself too seriously, like don't come into that scenario with a chip on your shoulder, like don't you do anything to me type of thing. Yeah. So, and then I feel like once you get your foot in the door, your playing can kind of speak for itself. Be sure that you're enjoying yourself along the way while you're like striving towards the goals. Whether you're trying to get a tour gig or get into sessions or whatever your overarching goals in Nashville are, just be sure that you are enjoying the journey as you get there. So, because a lot of stuff happens along the way and you miss it if you're just focused on this one thing. So.